Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. I was trying to record until I was rudely interrupted, but hey, what's up? Oh my goodness, I'm almost at the end of my journey, so I don't really have much time to record. But I saw something online recently, Instagram, and it said that a significant amount of the vitamins and supplements sold at Walmart really only contained like grains like rice and wheat, and those were the main components of the pills, right? Now, when people make pills, from my understanding, sometimes they have to put fillers in there. Sometimes they have to dilute it because, you have the risk of people taking supplements without any food. Typically you want to eat and then take your supplements, or have it with the meal. That way, when your body or your stomach acid, or when the pill hits your stomach wall or your stomach lining, it doesn't damage it with whatever harsh materials that could damage your stomach wall when it comes in contact with it. So that's my understanding, right? That may not be the case, but typically when traditionally from what I would hear, when a doctor prescribes medication, they say take with food, or the instructions on the pill bottle will say take with food. I can't remember the last time. I probably took medication when I was 11 years old or 13 years old, so I can't really remember. Aside from something for flu or cold or something like that. But anyhow, so it usually says take it with food. So I think that some of these supplement manufacturers, what they do is they use the rice or the wheat or whatever food they're mixing, or whatever component they're mixing the supplement with, they mix it in order to prevent it from being harsh, and it might, I don't know, the components may aid absorption. I'm not sure, but you got to check the milligrams or the micro units and see what that's going to do for you to determine how many pills you're going to take for the day. The micro units or the milligrams or whatever. Now, the pill might be a certain weight, a certain amount of milligrams weight, but how many micro units of the stuff that you want is in the pill? So I see bottles that have both information on them. They have both the milligrams, the weight of the pills, and also the micro units conveying how many units of the specific supplement that you want are in each pill. And that will determine, you can look at that and determine if that's the daily dietary intake that you want to achieve, which is possibly dependent upon your weight and dependent upon what you're trying to achieve. If you're just trying to have a supplement because you feel like you're deficient, then you would have to research how many micro units or how many milligrams of whatever you need per day. I think micro units is the most effective. Micro units is the best unit to look at It's probably the better unit to look at. But not all bottles are labeled with micro units on them, from my experience. But again, there's also the parameter of absorption, right? I think I would assume, plants have a circulatory system, right? They take things out of the dirt, they put things in their body, they synthesize things. The things that they synthesize and pull out of the dirt, they use them. In an efficient way where it can be absorbed by their own cells. So I'm of the assumption that if the plant can use the nutrients that we're seeking to get from that plant also uses them. So if we eat that, it is more bioavailable. That's my opinion. You got to do your own research, right? So I think getting our vitamins from the foods we eat is a more bioavailable option than even taking supplements. Because now people are saying, the folic acid that you buy is not good, or the vitamin C that you're getting is not good, or whatever the case may be, for a variety of reasons. And when you look at, sometimes they'll do these demonstrations online where it'll say, your food is fortified with iron, and then they take the food, whether it may be rice, whether it may be cornmeal, whether it may be some kind of grain, and they basically put it in a centrifuge and they separate it, or they put a magnet through it, and then they show you the metal shavings, the small metal shavings that are inside of the food that are your quote-unquote iron supplements. Now, from my limited understanding, and I've never seen someone do a demonstration on this, right? There's certain foods that are good sources of iron. I can't think of one right now. But if you put one in a blender, put it in a food processor, and run a magnet through it, you're not going to come up with iron. I don't think so. Or not visible iron. So, but the iron is in there. So I think plants have a more bioavailable version of these things. Now, also again, I think our stomachs have what? Sulfuric acid? Is it sulfuric acid in our stomach? What kind of acid is in a human stomach? It's something like sulfuric acid, right? So I don't know what the pH is. It might be like 2 or something. Like don't move me to that. So it's possible that when we do eat these iron shavings, these so-called fortified foods, quote unquote fortified or enriched foods, where they add metal, add iron particles too, it's possible that our stomach, atomizes it or breaks it down or whatever the case may be. It's possible. But I don't know if that really happens, and it's interesting. I should have looked that up before I had this discussion. But I believe because of the way that plants use these things and store them in their plant tissues, I want to say bodies, but that sounds like eating humans. The way how plants store the nutrients in their tissues, I think it makes it more bioavailable for us, and it's a better option than taking supplements if you can. If you can, I would say it's better to get it from the food, right? because our gut biome is kind of optimized for breaking down the bacteria in our gut. In our guts are designed to break down plant matter. So the plant matter is going to come in, go in your stomach, get sprayed with some acid, get crushed up a little bit. You know, your stomach is going to work on it a little bit. Then it's going to extend how many ever 100 feet through your intestinal system. I don't know how long the intestinal system is. The small intestine is going to go through that whole small intestine, getting treated and getting processed by all of these bacteria, broken down and absorbed at the same time through the whole process, and then dehydrated and then put into the waste bin, right? So what I really wanted to just pop on and say is that ideally in my opinion, the best source of nutrition is through food. The best source of medication is through food. Now, hopefully YouTube doesn't ban me again, strike me again. I'm not advising anybody to do anything wrong. What I'm advising them to do is get their vitamins and their medicine from the foods that we eat. Get the vitamins and the medicines from the foods that we eat. I think that's the best thing to do. I think it's more bioavailable. The only consideration that may throw that off a little bit. I mean, we don't know the quality sometimes that these supplements are made under, or to the quality standards they're made to, right? At the same time, the plants that we eat, we're not growing them ourselves. We don't know if they contain pesticides. We don't know if they're next to the highway where the diesel engines are passing by them. We don't know if they're contaminated in some kind of way because people are getting E. coli, listeria, all kind of things because deer are walking through the plants and just, I don't know, spreading their germs through the plants, I guess. But it's important to wash our vegetables and wash our fruits and stuff. And the good thing about fruits and vegetables, the good thing about fruits, for the most part, though, is that they have a skin on them, you know what I mean? Vegetables, you just eat them straight up. There's really no skin to remove, you know what I mean, for the most part. But fruits, you can cut the skin off. Sometimes the skin has so many benefits, like you don't even want to cut it off. But, like for example, a lot of people have been concerned about apples having wax on them. Now, supposedly, apples naturally grow a wax on their fruit. The wax is part of the apple's natural growing. The wax is there naturally. But some people are concerned about that. But if you're concerned about that, you can just peel the apple. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. I think it's probably more bioavailable. It's probably better to eat your supplements via fruits, vegetables, etc., rather than taking a pill. Hey, thanks for listening. I gotta go.